Hi everyone, this is Shalini Joshi Amdagni from magicalpainfreeliving.com, and I hope you can see me. I seem to be having some confusion using Facebook Live. Really excited to be with you here today. Today is the day I was going to be sharing with you the Golden Buddha story and why it's relevant for you. So before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to all of you who joined me in my first Facebook Live video yesterday, celebrating my 10 years on this magical pain-free living journey. I completed 10 years yesterday, and thank you for all your wishes and all your supportive, encouraging remarks and comments. I truly appreciate them. And if you're watching this live right now, please jump in and come in and say hello. I would love for you to be here with me. And the story that I'm about to share with you, the Golden Buddha story, is really very important for me. It deeply impacted me, so much so that, you know, my brand is called Magical Pain-Free Living, and it has its roots somewhere in this story. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And so let me just begin. I don't know who's here. I'm on my business page and I can't see the comments. So anyway, let me get on with the Golden Buddha story. So, you know, I'm based in Bangkok, Thailand, and this is the land of the Buddhas, right? It's a Buddhist country. And in 1957, let me take you back to 1957 as I tell you the Golden Buddha story. So in 1957, a bunch of monks was assigned to move an entire monastery from its location where it was to the current location now here in Bangkok. And so as the monks were, you know, preparing to move this monastery, one day they had to move this giant clay Buddha that was part of the monastery. And so as the crane was, you know, lifting this gigantic, enormous clay Buddha, the head monk noticed like there was some kind of a crack in the Buddha. It was a clay Buddha. And so, you know, he got concerned, and they decided to bring it down from the crane and bring it down to the floor. And unfortunately, it also started raining that day. And so to prevent it from getting damaged, you know, they got a canvas and they covered the entire clay Buddha with the canvas so that it wouldn't get wet and damaged even further. And that evening, the head monk, you know, he went to check on the clay Buddha and see, you know, what damage had been done. So he goes under the canvas and he started shining a headlight at the place where the crack was. And to his, you know, amazement, there was like a little light gleaming back from that crack. And he got really curious. So what he did was he went back and he got a chisel and a hammer, and he started chipping away at that area where the crack was. And so as he chipped a little bit more, more light started shining back. So really curious, he you know, took that chisel and the hammer and started chipping away at big chunks of that clay. And after many hours of chipping away at this gigantic clay Buddha, to his shock and astonishment, there was this extraordinary solid gold Buddha. And so the story is that many hundred years ago, Thailand was being attacked by Burma. And so the place where this clay Buddha was, where this golden Buddha was, the monks in that place decided to cover it up with layers and layers of clay, hoping that this, precious treasure is not looted by the Burmese army. And so they covered it in thick clay layers. And unfortunately, when Burma attacked Thailand, all the monks that were involved in this died, and the secrets sort of died with them, right? And it wasn't until 1957, hundreds of years later, centuries later, that this golden Buddha was discovered, and it is now, located in Bangkok, Thailand, at the Golden Buddha Temple. So that's the story of the Golden Buddha. And so why is it relevant for you and me? Well, because, I truly believe that we're sort of like that clay Buddha, right? Each one of us does have that golden divine essence of who we truly, truly are. We, at our true self, that's who we really are. That's our true self, that golden essence, the golden Buddha, the golden Christ, you can call it whatever. But that's who we are at our core. But as we journey through life, as we are born and we interact with our parents and we go to school, teachers, friends, all kinds of experiences with the work life and married life and the media, we get covered in layers and layers of this clay, this mental, emotional, physical, spiritual dust and debris, and it covers us. And over time, we are so covered in this thick layer that we don't see that golden essence of who we are. We sort of disconnect from that golden essence, and we feel lost, and we feel disconnected, and we feel pain, and we are in dis-ease, right? And I was sharing with you my own story in the previous video that I did just yesterday, celebrating my 10 years being free from pain and disease. And exactly 10 years ago, that's where I was, covered in layers and layers of emotional pain, emotional hurt, resentment, anger, not good enough, feeling self-doubt, and I was actually in chronic pain and disease, and I had a disease, costochondritis, and I had been confined to bed rest indefinitely. And it wasn't until I discovered my hammer and my chisel, right, and that's emotional freedom techniques, EFT tapping, that as I used this tool, chipping away at all the different layers that had covered me over the years, all the different experiences that had upset me, that had made me feel less and doubt myself and not feel confident and not feel good enough, as I chipped away at these layers for almost 2 months, I was completely free from my pain and my disease, even though, after months and months and months of going to hospitals and medications and all kinds of treatments and therapies, nothing had worked for me. But chipping away at these layers that, consciously or subconsciously I had created, we don't realize we're doing this. We don't realize that we are consciously doing this, but this is what happens. And so as I chipped away at my layers, I was completely free. I had discovered my purpose, my path, and I felt this inner golden essence, I got in touch with that, and somehow, as I kept using this tool, this hammer and chisel daily, clearing away the daily dust, emotional debris, my life began to get better and better, and I was feeling vital, I was feeling alive, I was saying yes to things I never dared to do before, and things just took on a whole new journey. And I eventually this my work, it wasn't just about pain-free living, but it became magical pain-free living. And the reason the magic happened is because effortlessly things started to work for me, not against me. Effortlessly, way more effortlessly than I was putting in the effort. So what I want to say is that what I want to ask you is that what if you could take the time to reflect on what are those layers of clay that have built up on you, in you? What are those things that you're saying to yourself? What is are you riddled with self-doubt or fear or anxiety, or are you in physical pain or emotional pain? What are those layers that have covered you up in this clay, right? And what if you could reflect on that? Where are you holding yourself back? Which area of your life needs attention right now that you're not attending to, that is covered in clay? So what if you could reflect on that and imagine what might be possible if you did reflect on that, and if you did use a tool just like the hammer and the chisel, right? There's so many things out there on the internet nowadays. There's so many therapies and self-help tools and all kinds of meditations and whatever works for you. But what if you can begin that journey of chipping away at all these different layers that have piled up over the decades of your life, right? And who knows what might be possible for you as you uncover these layers and discover the amazing potential that you have, the amazing strength, and how that might empower you and strengthen you and encourage you and guide you to moving forward and living your best life from that place of knowing your true essence, from that place of your golden essence. So I invite you to take a look, take time to reflect, and use tools that work for you, whatever works for you. The tool that I used was Emotional Freedom Techniques, EFT tapping, and you can know more about that if you go to my website EFTthailand.com. I have you can learn how to use it. There are videos there, but you don't have to use EFT. You can use whatever works for you, but take time to reflect and see where in your life have those layers packed on, and what if you can begin to today chip away at those layers. So that was the story of the Golden Buddha. I hope it touched you in some way. I hope it inspired you in some way. I hope that this sharing benefits you in some way, and if it does, and I would love to hear your comments below. I'm sorry I can't see any comments here. I'm on my fan page, business page, so I'm getting used to this, but I would love your feedback, your comments, and if you do decide to take action, and if you do decide to do something about it, I would love for you to come back and share with me. I will be looking at all the comments, and I would love to get your feedback. So thank you for joining me here today on this story of the Golden Buddha, and I look forward to connecting with you next week and sharing with you another inspiring story every Thursday at 11 a.m. Bangkok time. So I look forward to seeing you there next week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to continuing this magical pain-free journey with all of you. Thanks guys. Bye-bye.